Matt Braun is back to talk about maybe the biggest offseason weekend we've seen for the Twins in could be years. Coming up, Lockdown Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome to the Lockdown Minnesota Twins podcast. Today is Sunday. It's Sunday night, March 13th. It's Selection Sunday. And we're welcoming back Matt Braun. I want to thank you for making Lockdown Twins your first listen every day. We're free and available on all podcast platforms. And I want to tell you this episode is brought to you by Bet Online. As I said, Selection Sunday, you're going to want to go play at Bet Online. For all the latest odds, contests, and player props, betonline.net is the number one source for all your sports betting needs and info. Matt is here to break down, I would call it a crazy weekend for the Twins. Really, I mean, it was an emotional roller coaster, Matt. How are you feeling tonight, sitting here kind of bathing in everything that happened?
Well, bathing in it's a very good way of putting it, because I mean it's been an interesting time. I mean, we had all the sort of hand wringing after the Garver and Kiner-Falefa deal, which we'll get to, no doubt. And then they come out the next day and then just nuke us with this Sonny Gray deal, and I mean just out of the blue. Holy crap! I was actually on my flight back when that news broke. So first thing when I open up my phone, I see we got Sonny Gray, and I couldn't believe it. It took waves of like actual like what, Sonny Gray on the Twins? No, before I finally came to terms with that.
This is, Matt, I want to say, outside of Donaldson, this is at least on the level of the Maeda deal, or perhaps more significant than the Maeda deal. Like this entire regime, it might be Nelson Cruz ended up being their best addition, their best kind of move, I would say so far was probably Nelson Cruz. But this is probably top three in terms of additions they've made since they took over. They're going into season 6. Like this was big, and we're going to get to that a little later on, but it wasn't the only thing that happened this week. And if this was the only thing that happened, Matt, we would have huge news for like months, I feel like, because they just don't do that. But I think people were surprised. So you mentioned the Twins traded Mitch Garver to the Texas Rangers for Isiah Kiner-Falefa and Ronnie Henriquez, who's a smaller pitching prospect, kind of how he was described, 95 with the fastball. Decent pitching prospect. I tweeted today, slots between Cole Sands and Emmanuel Rodriguez. And if you listen to Matt and I in our prospect episode, we like both those guys. So maybe we'll like Ronnie Henriquez. But I think the immediate reaction to this, you mentioned hand-wringing was the word, the term you used. Twins fans were not happy.
No, they were not. And it was understandable to a large degree. I think if you, I want to put this as precisely as I can. I think if you were to, in a vacuum, create a theoretical trade that would still be within the concept of team building, fair, because I do think this is a fair trade, but would piss off the most people, this would be it. Because you're talking about getting rid of a high offense guy, especially at a low offensive position, for a high defense guy at a very unsexy position. So it's one of those things, and it's really interesting specifically because I keep thinking about it in terms of sort of how you philosophize team building, because you really don't see a whole lot of major league guys. And yes, we did have Ronnie Henriquez in there. But the meat and potatoes of this deal is Garver for Kiner-Falefa. And you don't see a whole lot of two major league level guys being traded for each other. And so I think you have to look at it from the perspective I've put it out before, which is sort of like, well, look, this is what they're saying. They're saying, okay, well, we have the bats to sort of soak up losing Garver potentially. But what we definitely don't have, and what we haven't had over the last few years, has been consistent defense and consistent health. And those aren't very sexy things at all. Those aren't going to, not attractive. But guess what? It wins ball games. Having good shortstop defense wins ball games. Having guys who can play every day, wins ball games. And that's what I think Kiner-Falefa is going to do. Getting too much into it because I know we're going to go back and forth on this a little bit.
I agree. I agree. And I remember Thad Levine said last offseason, right before the Simmons signing, he said, sometimes it was something along the lines of, we don't care where we get our WAR. That was his direct quote. We don't care where we get our WAR. And then they signed Anderson Simmons. And what he meant by that was, we'll take it defensively. And you think about baseball, it's runs scored minus runs allowed, right? And if you can take away some runs allowed, you'll do that defensively, and it ends up balancing. But to me, a lot of the upside, I always talk about upside with this team, right? What's the upside? What's the best they could possibly do? And for me, having Mitch Garver was a large part of that upside offensively, because you mentioned he's a catcher. We've seen what he can do at the plate when he's dialed in, when he's on the fastball, when he's locked in at the plate. Very few guys are better. And certainly in the Twins lineup, very few guys are better. So I felt like losing Garver, you're taking away some of that upside. But if Ryan Jeffers comes back this year and he has a league average season at the plate, I think we'd all be really excited about that. And I think it would make this deal worth it, because I've liked Kiner-Falefa before this. I remember watching him last year and I was like, I like this guy. And I remember looking into his defensive stats this offseason a little bit too, because we bounced around with his name. I don't know if you and I did, but his name was bounced around as a trade target. And what I thought was funny, Matt, I want to get your perspective on this. So I'm on Twitter, and Twitter's not always the best. Not always the best place to look for opinions. But Yankees fans, I'm looking at Yankees fans, they're like, oh, there goes IKF. Like, there he goes. Like, Yankees fans were interested in acquiring him. And if you don't know, lighter bat, strong defender, in simple terms. And he's worked his butt off to get to where he is. It sounds like we're really going to like him. Twins fans are going to like him, his character, which is exciting. But what do you think, Matt? Yankees fans are saying they missed out on their shortstop in IKF.
Well, I hesitate to ever go against the brilliance of Yankees fans.
Especially
truly among, you have Socrates and you have the great philosophers, and then you have the Yankee fans on Twitter.
And you have John Boy, yes.
And then you have John Boy, and well, that's a whole other thing. But I do think you hit on some crucial points here, in that Kiner-Falefa is going to be a real spark plug, I think is the best word to use for it. Not just in sort of his style of play defensively, but in sort of the personality he's going to bring to the clubhouse. And it's always hard to talk about that, because it's never anything that's going to be apparent to us, because we're not there. We don't know what it looks like on the ground so it's all sort of, we can assume Nelson Cruz through the stories, phenomenal leader, outstanding clubhouse guy, but there's a lot of nitty gritty that goes on that we just simply, can't see. That being said, Kiner-Falefa fits very well into the makeup of the team, I think. And I just, man, I came around. I think there was an initial sort of gut reaction to, oh my God, Garver, because like you said, he's a destroyer of baseballs. He was such a big part of that 2019 team, and I think we still have a lot of nostalgia for that. But at the same time, if you're going to be harsh, if you're going to look at it through that lens of like real strong criticism, you say, well, here's a guy who's 31. He's on the wrong age of 30. He only played 68 games last year. Health has kind of been a concern over the last few years. It's always this or that or the other. How good is this fielding actually? It's kind of up in the air. Is it average? Is it below average? Is it above average? It's better than it used to be. That's certainly for certain. But it's a trade. It's a trade of trade-offs. Really is what this is. And I think it was a smart trade-off.
I saw a tweet from our friend Matthew Trueblood today, and I was thinking as he tweeted, and I was thinking he was saying that he felt that this move, now in the context of what we know today, which is what they did today, makes more sense for them from a roster building perspective. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking to myself, I think that's true, because they can get creative, I feel like, and we will get into with the Gray deal, with the payroll.
My friend, we might have news.
No way.
Yankees acquiring Josh Donaldson, Isiah Kiner-Falefa, and Ben Rortvedt for Gary Sánchez and Geo Urshela.
What? No way.
Well, throw all that out the window.
What? Wow. Gary Sánchez. I'm confused about this.
So you know that thing I said about defense? Well,
Wow. Oh my goodness. Josh Donaldson is in the Bronx. Wow. Twins have now they got a new third baseman, and I don't know who's playing shortstop. I guess Geo. Geo's gonna play third.
oh,
And then oh my goodness, man.
but Gio's
Wow.
not the shortstop. What?
What is going
What?
on? This
Did
can't
they
that
acquire?
can't be.
Hold up.
Okay.
Did they
Okay.
acquire Kiner-Falefa because they knew the
You
Yankees
just
wanted
said
him
about
so
the
bad?
Yankees. That's crazy. We just said the
Just to
Yankees
pivot?
wanted them.
What does that mean a
Okay.
lot, man? I can't
Okay.
focus on this. What just happened?
Okay, one more time. One more time. We are seeing right now from Ken Rosenthal and Jeff Pass. This is not from bend over. Like, this is real. Yankees are acquiring Josh Donaldson, Isiah Kiner-Falefa, and Ben Rortvedt for Gary Sánchez and Geo Urshela. I mean, what's your initial reaction to this, Matt? What is going on? What is going on? What's your I can't believe this. Okay, you go ahead. Go ahead, because I got some thoughts on this initially. We'll get our immediate reaction.
If I can collect myself, which I don't think is humanly possible.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. Wow.
I don't know if I. Oh my god.
Crazy.
Well, first of all, I mean,
we're just
crap,
talking
Josh
about
Donaldson in the Bronx. They're either gonna hate him or they're gonna worship him.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, that's gonna be interesting.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right.
I was gonna say, this package makes sense if the Yankees are eating Donaldson's salary, right? Like, it makes sense in that case. I want to see the money involved in this because we might look back. We're gonna look at this. I don't know what Gary Sánchez is set to make or Geo this year. I like Gio Urshela for sure. Gary,
I like him at third, but he needs to stay away from short.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Jeffers and Gary Sánchez is gonna be the catching pairing for the Twins.
God, I've been hating on Gary Sánchez
I
since
know for how many years. Well, now I don't even know who to trust, Matt. Like, are they going to flip Gary Sánchez for? I don't know.
Right. Like
Okay,
I said earlier today with the Sonny Gray trade that we kind of got Falvied because we've now seen this a few times where it's very much like aiming one way and then sort of pivot the other. With this, I mean, we didn't even talk about the fact that we traded. We didn't even talk about the Gray trade. Now we have this.
This is the wildest weekend. Wildest weekend I've ever seen.
Dude, but okay. Let's back this up. Let's actually try to analyze this. So, like you said, I think a large amount of this deal is going to come down to money, and then how they pivot into. I don't think they're going to spend that in free agency because let's be honest, the free agents right now are not looking great unless they go sign Trevor Story and then just blow the entire damn thing up. I mean, just
shattering. Yeah.
Drop a nuke.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the deal. But yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Thank you. I think if I were to guess, and I mean, shit, I don't think I can guess anything now that something like this happened. What we may see is a pivot towards acquiring a higher salaried starting pitcher. We're moving Donaldson money to get I don't know who it is, but someone else money. I don't know if you want to try and put together some thoughts right now, but you can try.
Dude,
if you want.
Matt, you know what I'm thinking? Okay, a couple things are running through my head right now, and I'm so glad you're here for this. Like, I'm really, really glad this happened, actually. It's amazing. Jose Miranda, opening day, third baseman. What are your thoughts?
I love it. He should have been up in September.
I think it's going to be him. I want to say Geo was good at short. I want to say he played a good shortstop last year. So I wonder if, I know he played third, and I know he'd moved around a little bit. I want to take a look.
Defensive metrics couldn't even agree on him at third. Him at short was not.
Okay. So the Twins need a shortstop once again. He played 26 games at short last year. So we're back where we started before yesterday. That is wild to me. I think we had gotten used to the idea of Kiner-Falefa in this lineup. Another thing that's coming to mind to me. So now you have traded you have your three best right-handed bats are Byron Buxton, Mitch Garver, and Josh Donaldson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we agree on that? Miguel Sano's probably four. You've traded two out of your three best right-handed bats and probably your third best player in Donaldson now. So does the notion of what I wrote about today as well, and kind of what we've gone back and forth on this whole offseason that they're trying, does that change now that they traded Donaldson? Or what? There's got to be more here, Matt. Like, there's got to be more.
Absolutely. There's a larger picture.
Yeah.
I know they have a broad outline of what they want to do, or maybe it's a very precise outline, but they know what they want to do. And I think what we are seeing, and it's very frustrating from a fan perspective, but it's what's going to happen is just these baby steps. Although this isn't a baby step, I don't know what you describe this as. This is mayhem. This is shooting a shotgun in the chicken hen or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there even a comparison to this kind of trade the Twins have ever made? I'm trying to think. I have nothing.
No. How about in a weekend? We're trying to talk about the guy we were talking about, Matt, who they acquired on, when was that, Friday or Saturday? Yesterday, is gone. He's now gone. We're talking ourselves into him.
We still have Ronnie Henriquez for now.
Yes, we still have Ronnie Henriquez for now. And that's the thing. Like, okay, so you trade Mitch Garver partially because the right-handed platoon does not make sense to have two right-handed catchers. Now you're adding Gary Sánchez, who is like, I would say, diet Mitch Garver in some ways.
He's worth Garver. I agree.
I think he is. And he had a nice year last year, actually. I think over in the second half, I think he had turned it on a little bit.
I'm physically incapable of giving him credit, so I just love hating on him so much. I'm so mad.
I really did not think they were going to trade Donaldson. I really did not. Like, I was not just because, I'm a JD fan, but I really did not think they would do that. Okay, Gary Sánchez last year was right about league average at the plate, but has not been great since 19 offensively. Right. So this is crazy, man. I mean, I don't even know where to start with that. I guess I do want to see the first thing I want to see. And again, like, Sánchez has huge splits against lefties and righties. Like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I guess the DH spot is open, so you can DH Sánchez or Jeffers against lefties, which makes some sense. But I want to see the contract. I want to see the money. Are we eating any money? That's like the biggest thing here. Are the Twins eating money in this deal? I would guess no. I hope it's no, because in that case, that's $21 million off the books.
I'm seeing right now, it says Joel Sherman says they're taking on all of it. The Yankees are eating all of Donaldson's contract.
Wow. Okay, so that's wow. The next 2 years at 21.75. That's
so. So it's exactly what I think we've been sort of dancing around, is that this isn't the end game. There's going to be two
mayhem. Okay, so let's break this down. Because I want to look at, and sorry, you go ahead, Matt, if you want to elaborate on that.
No, please. I'm still trying to gather thoughts.
Okay, so if you look at Donaldson, we got 21, or let's call it 22 million on the books for him this year. And they're taking on Urshela and Sánchez. But they're also getting IFK's or IKF's money off the books as well. So that's another
which wasn't much. I mean, he was an arbitration.
Yeah, but they need much. Now there's serious Trevor Story speculation. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I was kind of joking about it, but I mean, you're clearing money for someone. Who could that be? Yep. Right? It makes so much sense. They're not going to get Correa, but holy shit, they're on something right now. Maybe we do end up with Carlos Correa, but it's got to be
crazy. Donaldson has already been added. So Fangraphs has added. Sánchez is 7.9 million.
Wait, Fangraphs already updated?
Yep, already updated.
Wow, they're fast.
Urshela is 6.5 million. He's got a year next year. Sánchez is on a 1-year deal essentially for 8 million. Geo 6.5, and he's ARB3 next year. So they added like 16 million in salary and cleared 21, essentially. But it has the Twins at 94 million in payroll. So 94 million in payroll, Matt. They got some room now. That's what you're saying. That's what we're saying. If we're reasonably getting to 130, there are no free agent starters left to pay.
I essentially, I mean, money yeah, I think it's basically like I looked over it, and I think the only ones I thought were worth anything really was Greinke and Pineda, and that's not much. I mean, I'd much rather see a trade for Frankie Montas at that point.
For sure. I don't know what you're right. I don't think it's the end game. I would love to know we're going to find out, I think, in the next week what's going on here. But
we have to.
Is there any?
I think we actually chose the worst possible time to do this. For being honest,
crazy.
Or maybe the best possible time.
Nelson Cruz is in agreement with the Nationals, by the way.
What is happening?
All right. Okay. Here's what we know. We're going to gather ourselves, people. I apologize. This has been crazy. This is crazy. And we're going to go to 30 and we're going to gather ourselves here. And I do want to talk about the Sonny Gray trade as well. But here's what we know. The Twins traded for a shortstop yesterday, and now they don't have a shortstop. The Twins traded Josh Donaldson away. So who's playing third? Is it Urshela? Is it Miranda? Now we're looking at a catching platoon duo of Gary Sánchez and Ryan Jeffers. And the Twins have cleared like 8 to 10 million off the books overall. So they have conceivably, hopefully 25 or 30 million to spend on the low end. I don't know what's going to happen next. I really don't. I do want to, I know it's crazy to do it right now, but I do want to talk about the Sonny Gray deal and what that means, because I think it does fit into this larger picture. So if they didn't do this deal today, Matt, if they didn't trade for Sonny Gray and they didn't trade, they had traded Mitch Garver for Kiner-Falefa, and then they had not done this Gray deal, and then they traded Donaldson and did this deal tonight, you'd say they're punting, right? Mm-hmm. But the Sonny Gray deal makes the whole thing like explode in my head. Like, try to explain that to me. I don't understand that.
Well, at this point, I think it'd be folly to try and explain this. But like you said, I think again the whole issue is there's going to be pivoting, probably not unlike what we just saw with Kiner-Falefa. There's going to be things that at the time that make you scratch your head. But I fully believe in I'm thinking about it right now actually, and I wouldn't be entirely surprised if Sánchez is pivoted and he's gone as well.
No, I think so.
I don't think they hold on to him because it makes very little sense to have a better player than Sánchez and then go with Sánchez as your guy, even if Garver to you was just the means to an ends. I don't know if I understand that one. At the same time, kind of, it's funny how this works. If you want to talk about specifically with Story, you now just took his probably biggest suitor away.
Yeah,
you just improved your own market in that way because Yankees don't need a shortstop now or a third baseman. So do with that what you will.
So much here, and I apologize to the listeners if you're just jumbled. We're jumbled, like this happened as we were speaking. But so much you can break down from this. The Donaldson saga is over. The money's gone. Their biggest free agent signing lasted half his contract. I mean, so much here with that. But yeah, man, with the Sonny Gray deal, that just makes it crazy. It makes it crazy to me. Like I wonder if they had these things lined up and they're just pulling the trigger. Like I don't know what the process is on that, but it's crazy. Let's talk a little bit about, we can talk a little bit about Rortvedt too. I guess maybe a toss-in this deal. Can we describe this deal as a salary dump?
I think it's salary dump-ish. Like I said, I think there's a lot of things happening here. Because if you really take a step back and sort of look at it, I think the most important thing is getting Donaldson off the books. And if you have to lose Kiner-Falefa and Rortvedt for that, I did like Kiner-Falefa, so that does kind of hurt. Again, if they do end up with Story, then that's better. Rortvedt, I think is whatever. I never thought he was going to hit at the major league level like at all. Good defender, but God, that bat was dreadful. So if I'm looking at essentially, they got cheaper at third base. Urshela, who's a solid player. I like Urshela. I like his glove at third, and I like his bat. Like I said, it's all contingent on what the long-term plan is for Sánchez, which I think
I will tell you, Bob Nightingale said they have no interest in keeping Gary Sánchez.
Did they really just say that?
Just said that. No interest in keeping Gary Sánchez.
I'm telling you, something's
trying to find suitors. Yep.
All right, here's what happened. They were here for what you said. This is now their sixth year here, and we all complained and whined about how boring and conservative they were. Yeah, how by the numbers, and then Falvey was just like, "Yeah, we're by the numbers. By the numbers. You want to see that?"
Insane. Okay, so acquired so far: Sonny Gray, Gary Sánchez, Gio Urshela, Ronnie Enriquez, Francis Paguero. Traded away Mitch Garver, Josh Donaldson, Chase Petty, and Ben Rortvedt. There's your weekend. What a weekend for the Twins, man. They made up for a lot of lost time.
That's an entire offseason, man.
So now we're talking about getting rid of Sanchez's money, Matt. There's got to be something. There's got to be something here. There's got to be. I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't come together in my head. There's got to be more. Like, are they really? It doesn't come together unless Donaldson is asking out. I could see that. I could see him saying, I want out of this situation at this point, which could push a deal like this. But why is it such a large package? Why does it involve the players it does? This is crazy for the Yankee community, I'm sure, as well. Josh Donaldson and Garrett Cole are together after last year's feud.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, my God.
And it will be not Kiner-Falefa and Donaldson on the left side for the Twins. It will be those two on the Yankees, although Aaron Boone said today that Gleyber Torres is their shortstop.
Right. And the Rangers manager said that Kiner-Falefa had third base to lose. So, I mean.
Yes. Well, I guess Gleyber will go to second or DJ.
Where he's better. He's not a shortstop.
Yes, not a shortstop. Wild, man. This is not the end of it. There's so much to come here. Crazy weekend for the Twins. Can't believe it. Honestly, cannot believe this. I know but I remember I think you and I sat here, Matt, and we were like, they could trade Garver. They could trade Donaldson. But to see it in writing, to see it like done is wild. It's really, really wild. There are some reactions to this for sure. I think generally people are very confused. It looks like people are not understanding what's going on here, which we're in the same boat. This is part, and Dan Hayes tweeted, they're not done doing whatever they're doing. No one knows what they're doing. This is part of a larger scope, a broader painting that the Twins are currently sculpting, a canvas that the Twins are still painting on. This is crazy. Matt, any thoughts on this trade coming to you as we sit here?
I kind of want to, not because I know you're the leader of this, but I kind of wanted to actually offer if we could take a step back. Let's talk about the Gray deal and analyze that a bit more, because we touched on it, and that's a tangible thing that we've had hours to sort of soak in with. Right? Is that okay?
Yep.
All right,
absolutely.
Beautiful. Because I can actually, I mean, it's
Sonny Gray.
I was prepared for that. I was prepared for Sonny Gray, and then you just get smacked in the face.
I think he's staying. I think Sonny Gray is staying.
Oh, Gray is. I have no doubt in my mind that Gray is staying.
Yeah.
I don't think you give up Chase Petty, who, of like everyone who's been dealt now, is probably, you could say he's the highest upside guy, but he's sort of what, like, you don't trade a long-term safe. I hate to call him an asset, but asset like that just for a guy that for the unknown. I don't think they do that. I think they hold on to Gray. I think they're moving around parts that other teams want so that they can get other things. There is a path here. So with Sonny Gray, I just want to say, Sonny Gray, love it. Phenomenal starting pitcher. I've loved him even when he was a Yankee and terrible, because I thought they're not using him properly. And I thought the Reds got a great, he's so much below market value. That contract is beautiful. I have no idea how they could only give up Chase Petty for him, because I like Petty. I like all their guys naturally, but specifically, if you were to pick like which pitching prospect were you most okay with giving up, not just because of where his impact is going to be or when his impact is going to be and how volatile they are, I would have chosen Petty simply because of that. He's going to be, it's going to be 3 or 4 years down the line. You know, guys who throw 100 in high school, you love to see the upside, but how many of them actually contribute at the majors? We've kind of yet to see that. So, I mean, I just love it. That's a slam dunk, no-brainer deal to me.
I agree. I think there were 6 pitchers from 2 teams who made a ton of sense for the Twins. I think it was Gray, Castillo, Malley from the Reds, Montas, Bassett, Manaea from the A's. And I said all offseason, I'd be good with any 2. any 2 of them. I like Sonny Gray a lot. I think I probably would have ranked him maybe 3rd on that list considering the price. I mean, you don't know the actual price, but we know Castillo and Montas are going to cost the most. I love Luis Castillo, but he might have been 6th because he cost the most, right? Montas maybe 4. I thought Chris Bassett made the most sense for them, but this is a very similar deal to what the Mets got or gave up for Bassett yesterday. I think that was, and Bassett's only under contract for this year. And you have,
I think the Mets actually gave up more for Bassett. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah. And Gray's, you have an option on him for next year. An option. He's not under contract. You have an option, which is the most team-friendly thing you can have. So I agree. I mean, he just fits the bill right in as a number 2. I don't know if the Twins will add someone better. I don't know what they're doing, but there's more coming. If Sonny Gray's the best pitcher they add, I'd be like, depending on who the next one is, like, I don't know.
Right.
Well, what would your reaction be if Sonny Gray's the best guy they added?
I'm fine with it, only because, like, say, take Frankie Montas. If they do get Frankie Montas, I don't know if I could pick which one is actually better of the two. I may say Montas simply because he's younger, but I mean, you could say the flip side. Well, Gray has more of a track record, and it's like, well, you can go back and forth on that. So I mean, I really like Gray. I think he's top 20, top 25 starter in the entire league. And like you said, it's not just going to be for 2022. You have that beautiful team option for 23. And I talked about I've talked about 2023 of sort of being that year. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't at this point. Who knows? But it does seem like they are sort of still targeting. It's not immediate, like the shortest of short term, simply 1 year guys. They are looking at a sort of broader. There's a multi-year thing here because 2023, if all goes well, you're looking at Gray, you're looking at Maeda, you're looking at assuming either one or both of Ryan and Ober do stick around and are great, and then any of the other, Winders, Balazovics, and that's just assuming they don't make any other improvements. And I think that's a really nice starting rotation with still a lot of what is currently the core and what is tomorrow going to be a part of, I don't know, the Mets, still around and somewhat young and under contract.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I want to give you a look at this real quick as well. We're going to take a look at the
screenshot. I saw that.
Yep, you can see the screenshot. Hold on one second. We're going to get a look at the books right now because this is wild to me. This is wild. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see. I'll explain it to you. If not, Matt and I are going to talk about this. The Twins books right now are really clean. So if we look at the contracts. It is Byron Buxton, and there is not a guaranteed contract other than Randy Dobnak past 2023. You got Kepler, Polanco, Maeda making 3.125, and Dobnak making 1.5 in 2023. Their largest salary is Sonny Gray at 11.66. He takes over for Donaldson. And as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, estimated 2022 payroll is $94 million. And they've been in the 130 range the last couple of years. And there are free agent starters out there who will not probably cost double digits in terms of millions on the free agent market. So this is just what we're saying, people, Twins fans. This is what we're talking about. I don't know what they're going to do. And this is also with Gary Sánchez in his contract on the books for $7-something million. So, and they're shopping him actively. This is going to be really a really wild week, I think, in front of us. I'm so glad Matt was here tonight. So much more to come, Matt. I'll let you give your reaction on Twitter as well. We gotta let the people know what's going on here. But can't believe it, man. What are your final words for what has transpired this evening?
Strap in.
Strap in. I have no idea what this roster is going to look like. Sorry, Matt. You go ahead.
That's it. That's all I have, man. I'm just, for my own sake, I'm annoyed. I gotta focus on essays and crap, and I'll have this in the back of my head, just like Gary Sánchez.
Can't believe it. Twins fans, thank you so much. Honestly, Matt, thank you. I know this is wild, and I think you handled it really well. And hopefully, we didn't bounce around. I didn't bounce around too much, but this is crazy. We got a lot more coming this week. Locked On Twins. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, with the fallout from this. But Matt, thank you. Good luck on the essays, brother, and we'll talk again, I think, super soon.
I think you may be right on that. Thank you. Love you, dude.
See you, brother. You